Good day everyone. Today as a group we are going to try to introduce the topic about Azerbaijan in 19th and 20th century. And before going to details, we first should start with Azerbaijan, its history and population and in those ages. So Azerbaijan is a country located in the coast of Caspian Sea in Caucasus with the neighbors especially like Russia and Iran, and for this reason Azerbaijan had many troubles throughout the years due to land neighbors including several wars, occupations and relocation and so on. Also there were several countries with Azerbaijani origins throughout the ages. In 19th and 20th century, those lands were controlled and ruled by Khanates regime, also called as the Persian Khanates of Caucasus, which there were several divided territories ruled by Khans. Established by Persians after the fall of Safavid and Qajar dynasty, Karabakh, Shachir, Kuba, Shirvan, Baku and Nakhchivan Khanates were the most powerful and the great Khanates which were controls the many territories in those ages. After some period, as a result of Russian-Persian War, Russian Tsar took control of Azerbaijan lands, and Khanates regime lost their independence and lands in the very beginning of 19th centuries. Until the beginning of the 20th and exactly 1918, Azerbaijan territories were ruled and controlled by Russians till independence. During this period, Russia tried many times to annex Azerbaijan lands in order to exploit them, and finally Russia agreed to agreements, namely Turkmenchay and Gulistan. Actually, Russia and Iran agreed to agreements, Turkmenchay and Gulistan, and to divide and control the Azerbaijan origin territories. And as a result, today we are deprived of using those territories, our ancestors' lands, due to those agreements. However, during the occupation period, there were several independence attempts, which we will talk about this further in our speech. So, these were the brief history of Azerbaijan. Now, Maruza, my groupmate, will continue to talk about its economy in that age, oil industries, and other necessary industries in that time.
Thank you, Bahram. Now I am going to talk about the oil industry, oil monopolies, and philanthropies. As Haider Ali mentioned, Azerbaijan and the Baku attract the attention of the world companies and businessmen in the second half of the 19th and early 20th century. Actually, the history of the development of Azerbaijan's oil history is divided into several stages. However, I will talk about the first and second stage because they happened in 19th and 20th century. The first stage, for the first time in the world in 1846, oil was extracted by industrial method from the well located at 21 meters deep in Bibiheybet oil field. And the development of Azerbaijan's oil industry has started in the same year. The first oil refinery was constructed in Baku in 1859, and the Khorasan plant was built by Javad Malikov in Baku in 1863, and 15 oil refiners operated in 1867. And the development of technologies led to discovery of number of oil wells such as Binagadi, Pirallahı, Surakhana and others, and the increase in the production of oil, the development of oil infrastructure and oil refining, and the creation of hundreds of companies engaged in oil production, refining and sales. The industrial method of oil production was first used in the Balakhanı Sabunçu Romana oil field in Absheron in 1871. And the second stage started in 1920 after the nationalization of oil industry of Azerbaijan and covers the period Neftashlar field in 1949. And the production of oil reduced down to 2 million tons in 1921. And within the second stage, due to the expansion of exploration works, a number of new oil fields were discovered, especially Gala, Buzovna, Mashtaga, and others. and the oil production reached the highest level due to the removal of oil equipment and oil specialists to eastern regions, Tatarstan, Turkmenistan, and others. In the period of war of 1941 and 1945, Azerbaijan accounted for 11 million tons of oil production. And now I want to talk about philanthropist part. I want to mention with Alamsun Aliyev, who built the Ismailia building, and in addition, he spent millions of on water supply to Baku. And Hajj Zeynalabdin Taliyev played a great role in life of Azerbaijan. Uh, and the first Muslim charity, the Müslüman Xeyriyyə Cəmiyyəti, was founded in 1905, and the newspaper, which called Kaspi, was established under the leadership of Ahmet Bey Ağayev, Ali Merdan Bey Topçubaşov, and Ali Bey Hüseynzadə. In addition, in 1960, Nashr Marif and Nicat were established, and there was also Shamsi Asadullayev, whose name was always mentioned together with the names of Nobel brothers. He had also great role in development of Azerbaijan. And also, I want to mention Aga Yusif Dadashov, that during the March 1918 genocide in Baku, he made a great contribution to the development of the Musavat Party. And that's all from my side. Now, my group mate Fidan will continue. Thanks for your attention.
Thanks, Maruza. And now I am going to talk about the first committee. At the beginning of 20th century, the cooperation between governing and exploited population became strained, and they shaped conditions for the enlargement of revolutionary political ideas. In the spring of 1901, there was founded first a Baku Committee, which maintained the positions of Lenin's spark. In the realization of a revolutionary work among working staff, a social democratic organization met, which was a part of Baku Committee and that was founded in 1904, played significant role. Among the founders of these organizations, who played great role in the preparation of national professional revolutionists, and who maintained wide ties with many regions of Azerbaijan, we can cite an example: Rasulzadeh, Nermanov, Afendiev, Azizbayov, and others. Strikes in the enterprises of Baku, which occurred in 1902 until 1903, a political demonstration and a general strike of 1903 proves the transformation of labor movement into a new stage in Azerbaijan, and one of the extended form is a Gachak movement. In Azerbaijan gubernia there were famous Gachaks such as Gamdal Naglı, Ali Muharrem Oğlu, Kerbela Asker in Karabakh, and in Zengezur, Gachak Nabi, and others. You can see the pictures of Gachaks in the slides also. And at the beginning of 20th century, labor and peasantry movements enlarged in northern Azerbaijan. And Russian government, which frightened from the size of revolutionary movements, organized an Armenian Muslim slaughter in Baku in 1905 in order to distract the workers from such movements and improve material circumstances. In 1905 until 1906, there were killed thousands of Syrians, Azerbaijans, Turks were the result of criminal activity of Armenians by the support of Russia in Baku, Shusha, Nakhchivan, Iravan, Ganja, and other regions of Azerbaijan. The government restarted governance system in the Caucasus at the end of February of 1905, and so there was restarted military administrative governance in whole South Caucasus as well as northern Azerbaijan. Russian October political strike of 1905 extended to whole Azerbaijan as well. The workers of Baku, Shusha, Nuhan, railway workers, and students of Yazanatpol joined to this strike. The government, which frightened from the enlargement of this national movement, gave manifest in which they promised freedom of expression, press, assembly, and etc. on October 17 in 1905. Now I will talk about the Fire Party. At the 3rd degree of October 17 in 1905, there were shaped national parties in Azerbaijan, such as Ittifaq ul-Muslim, Difai Müdafiya, led by Topçubaşov, Agayev, and Ziyadkhanov. These parties were related with popular liberty thought of a nation against terrorism, and in these pictures we can also see the emblem of the fire and as the founders of the fire party. And for instance, the party of the fire, founded by Ahmed Bey Ağaoğlu, was engaged underground activity in Baku, Ganja, Nakhchivan, and Karabakh, as well as it did great work in the protection of the civil population of Azerbaijan against Dashnak's aggression. During first and second, all Russian congresses organized in Nizhny Novgorod and Petersburg in 1905 and 1906, the party of Ittifaq Muslim, which program and manifest were composed by Topçubaşov, conducted a great work of the protection of national rights of Muslim nations of Russian empires on preparation of unit tactics of Muslim deputies in State Duma, as well as in other spheres of political activity. And now my groupmate will continue.
Hello, dear professor and my groupmates. Today I will be talking about Azerbaijan nationalism and political nationalism. Okay. Start. It's clear that Azerbaijan nationalism, which was formed by local elites, gave the birth to the Azerbaijan nation. The importance of nationalism in shaping crucial international events has been reinforced by the collapse of the Soviet Empire. In the post-Soviet countries, nationalism has been a key influence in the direction of social independence. By the way, Eastern nationalism movements have been classified as passing through political, social periods. Azerbaijan nationalism began as a cultural movement in the second part of the 19th century. Azerbaijan was at the time a province of Tsar Russia, which executed a policy of open racification, discrimination, and etc. This event shaped the Azerbaijan nationalism as a struggle for the cultural and social independence. Həsən bəy Zərdabi, Cəlil Məmmədquluzadə, Mirzə Əkbər Sabir, Nəcəf bəy Vəzirov, Mirzə Fətəli Axundzadə were among the famous Azerbaijani writers, philosophers, artists who laid foundation for the cultural movement. They are against ignorance and religious fanaticism. They worked on the reform of language and alphabet. Edeb Yurdu, and etc. They published some newspapers and magazines such as Hayat, Yeni Hayat, Füza, Terakki, Irshad, and they opened national libraries. Əli bəy Hüseynzadə, Əlimərdan bəy Topçubaşov, Məmməd Əmin Rəsulzadə. Məmməd Əmin Rəsulzadə were Azerbaijani intellectuals who had a crucial role in the transformation of Azerbaijani nationalism from a cultural movement to a political movement. They, by using all available means within the law, they asserted the rights of people, calls the need to construct a democratic society in Russia, writing petitions to the Tsar, which included requests for equal religious political rights of Russian Muslims were among their efforts actually. Moreover, the representatives of Azerbaijan's first democratic republic refused the idea or supported the idea of pan-Turkism and called for unification with Turkey. However, the founders of Azerbaijan's first democratic republic refused that idea in favor of a new political paradigm known as Azerbaijanism. Azerbaijanism was firstly proposed by Ali Bey Hüseynzadeh in 1905, and it became the official doctrina for the democratic republic. Within its symbolic expression in the republic's sword-colored flag. That's all from my side. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Fedayan. Now I want to talk about the independence of Azerbaijan in 1918 and 1920s. The decision of proclaiming independence of Azerbaijan was made on May 27, 1918 by members of the Muslim faction. The main purpose was to represent the independence of the population of Azerbaijan to all over the world and prevent the nationality discrimination due to Bolshevik Dashnak invasion. This process was the first step to found parliamentary republic in the history of Azerbaijan, but not only Azerbaijan, in Turkic world. Let's meet what happened during this process. Firstly, the authority in Baku was belonged to Bolshevik Dashnak control. After September 16, Baku had been the capital of Azerbaijan Democratic Republic. This liberation had caused the dominant power of Azerbaijan government. On November 18th, 1918, the new flag was approved by the council. It consists of three colors: blue, red, and green, and also 8 pointed star. This flag had been waving over the parliament building. Next step after the flag was the state emblem of the republic. The competition had been proclaimed in newspapers about preparing this emblem. Besides the state emblem, there was a competition about creating the national anthem of Azerbaijan Democratic Republic. The creation of the state emblem and national anthem had been planned to proclaimed in the second year anniversary of the establishment of the Democratic Republic of Azerbaijan. However, the implementation of these ideas became unfinished in Democratic Republic years due to Bolshevik invasion. And now I want to touch some important details like language, education, and culture. The decision about language was made on June 27, 1918, and the government announced the Azerbaijan language as the state language. but at that time it's not called Azerbaijani. It was Turkish language. Starting from August 2018 and 1990, it was made decision about applying the state language in primary and secondary educational institutions. Then Turkic language was started to be spoken in the army as well. The Parliament of Azerbaijan Democratic Republic also used the official language when they made decision about the future. But if we return the education topic, I can say that there was a problem related to the shortage of teaching staff. Relocation of teachers seminary in Gori was created to resolve this problem. Moreover, the opening of Azerbaijan State Theater was one of the bright activities of cultural position in Democratic Republic. If we look at this flowering period of Azerbaijan Democratic Republic, we can say that this republic had reached many important goals, but the independence did not last much. On the night of April 25, 26, 1920, Russian troops attacked Azerbaijan. A parliamentary session was held on April 27 to discuss the ultimatum which Russian army sent. After a long discussion at the meeting, it was decided to give the authority to Russia. Therefore, the 23 months independence of Azerbaijan came to an end. Now I'm giving the floor to Pakiza.
Okay, now I'm gonna talk about Azerbaijan during Soviet Union. Let's start. After the collapse of the Azerbaijan Democratic Republic, the government was taken over by the Military Revolutionary Committee of Azerbaijan. In April 1920, Baku became the capital of the Soviet Socialist Republic of Azerbaijan, the Azerbaijan SSR. The Soviet government succeeded in extending its power over the territory of the Baku province. The administrative unit of the province was abolished. As before, the development of Baku continued after the establishment of Soviet power in Azerbaijan. The first Congress of the People of the East was convened in Baku in September 1920. The first All-Azerbaijani Congress of Soviets convened on May 6, 1921, approved the first constitution of the Azerbaijan SSR. The first Transcaucasian Congress of Soviets convened on December 10, 1922, adopted the decision on establishment of the Transcaucasian Socialist Federative Soviet Republic. Let's move on education of Azerbaijan during Soviet Union. Beginning of 20th century, the reasons for the delay in the development of education were the colonial policy of Charism and the fact that education was conducted mainly in Russian. However, Hacı Zeynalabdin Tağıyev achieved to open school for girls in Baku in 1991, and after just 1 year, another girls' school was opened in Ganja. Moreover, important decisions were accepted during these times, such as compulsory primary education and education in mother language. At that time, the press was developing. For example, Eastern Russian newspaper in the Azerbaijan language began to be published in 1993. In addition, Hayat, Irshad newspapers, Fuzat and Işık magazines began to be published. Moreover, the magazine Molla Nasreddin, founded in 1997 by Jalil Mehmet Gulzade, established a satirical press in Azerbaijan among the Turkish-speaking peoples of Russia and in the Middle East. I also want to mention about the theater and film art of Azerbaijan during Soviet Union. Hüseyin Arablinsky, the first professional actor of the National Theatre, and other actresses such as Jahangir Zeynalov and Hüseyin Sarabsky, made a great contribution to the development of theatrical art. The beginnings of the 20th century can be considered the period when first took over. For example, in 1916, the first Azerbaijan film in the realm of oil and millions was shot. In addition, the foundation of the first national opera was laid as a result of the performance of Üzeyir Hacıbeyli's Leyli and Mecnun. And that's all about our presentation. Thank you for listening us.